Everyone, welcome to the show. So, huge news today about investigations into Donald Trump. So, just this morning, CBS News caught Trump's attorneys on camera heading into the Justice Department building. And I'm not talking about one attorney, I'm talking about all three who are working on the classified documents case. They were in the building for about 2 hours, sources say, and some sources who spoke with the CBS News say that a charging decision is imminent in the classified document case. So, a meeting like this is kind of customary because the defense attorneys try to go in, they make one last pitch. They try to dissuade a prosecutor from, actually prosecuting their client, charging them. And according to a source who spoke with the Washington Post, that is exactly what happened today. This source said that they met with Jack Smith himself, with the special counsel himself. You don't get a meeting with the special counsel and all three attorneys show up unless there is something very serious going down. And then there were other signs too that it's go time, because the grand jury that was investigating this case, they haven't met. They haven't seen any evidence. They haven't seen witnesses for like a month now, but they're planning to meet again this week. Now, that could mean nothing. It could mean they've uncovered new evidence. It could mean, Jack Smith found a new witness, or it could mean that they're going to be voting this week on whether or not to issue indictments. A couple of recent news stories make me think that it's the latter, because first of all, as I shared recently, Trump was heard in a recorded conversation saying that he was in possession of classified documents about a plan to attack Iran. And then he told the people with whom he was speaking that he couldn't show them the document. I want to, but I can't because I no longer possess the authority to declassify materials because I'm no longer the president. And I had questions about the validity of his statements, if the document actually even exists, because we all know how full of it he is, right? And we didn't know, was he trying to impress these people? Was he trying to undercut news stories that were circulating at the time? Well, it appears this document does exist because Trump's attorneys have been looking for it and they say they can't find it. Evidently, when the DOJ found out about this, they issued a subpoena. This was in March of this year, and they demanded the return of this document that was described in the recording. But the defense counsel says, we've searched, we found nothing. So Trump has now painted himself into a corner with these statements that he made on this recording because, there's only two options and neither one is good for him. Either he has to admit that he lied, right? He has to admit, oh no, I made the whole thing up. This document doesn't actually exist. I was trying to sound important, or I was trying to, like I said, undercut these stories that basically I was treated like a child in my final days of my presidency. Or his other option is he admits that, yeah, even after all this time, after subpoenas have been issued, after a search of Mar-a-Lago was done, 2.5 years after leaving the White House, I still have classified material. So, like I said, neither one is good. And as I mentioned previously, Trump admitted in this recording that this supposed document wasn't declassified by his good brain power. I've got a good brain. I've got a good brain. I've got the best brain. I mean, he just admitted in this tape, that's BS. He cannot just poof, declassify things because he thinks of it. And he admitted on this tape that he knew that he didn't have the ability to declassify documents after leaving the office. On top of that, the special counsel now has Trump on video admitting that he took items that he isn't allowed to have, right? Because in that CNN town hall, Trump said basically, yeah, I took them. I had every right to do it. It's my right under the Presidential Records Act, which doesn't mean that or say that at all. And when he was asked if he showed them to anyone, you guys might remember if you saw any clips from that night, he said, quote, not really. He didn't say no or yes. He said, not really. I don't know how you not really show somebody something. But anyway, that will absolutely come back to bite him. That clip is absolutely going to be shown to a jury if this goes to trial. Then it was revealed over the weekend, on top of all this, that Trump's attorney, Evan Corcoran, recorded himself talking. He was apparently driving to some family event, he was on a long trip, and he was talking in this recording about his interactions and his experiences with Trump during this whole process, like while this whole subpoena thing was going on, while he was searching himself for the documents at Mar-a-Lago. So according to a New York Times article, quote, the level of detail in the recording is said to have angered and unnerved close aides to Mr. Trump, who are worried it contains direct quotes from sensitive conversations. So yeah, I'm going to call it now. Trump will be indicted in this classified documents probe. My guess, it's going to go down in the next couple weeks. Otherwise, like I said, you wouldn't have all three of his attorneys, including the one, who has no experience whatsoever. He keeps her around because she's a pretty lady. You wouldn't have all three of them meeting with the special counsel himself. Sorry, no, not going to buy that this was just a random, check-in. And then check this out, you guys. This just came up in my feed today. A former intelligence employee was just sentenced to 3 years in prison because they found out that he possessed and retained over 300 classified documents related to U.S. national defense, including over 30 documents that were marked top secret. 3 years in prison. So yeah, it is not looking good for the Hamburglar down in the hate state. The Georgia probe also appears to be ongoing, and we only have 2 months left before it's widely speculated that the district attorney down there, Fani Willis, is going to indict Trump and others for their attempted alleged coup. It was reported last week that the DA is investigating the activities of Trump and his allies in other states. So DC, other states where they were pulling some, shady stuff. Recently, she subpoenaed reports that were commissioned by Trump's campaign. They hired 2 independent research firms, you guys might remember, called Simpatico Software Systems and Berkeley Research Group. They were hired to prove these quackspiracies about the election. But as I shared with you guys in a segment about the report from Berkeley, it proved that there was no widespread election fraud and that Biden won. And the owner of Simpatico Software says that after investigating in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, and Wisconsin, his company, quote, found no substantive fraud sufficient to overturn an election result. And his emails, which have now been obtained by the DOJ, and they've been shown to the grand jury, they reveal that he was shocked by allegations when he was asked to look into these various things. Like, he just thought they were kind of nuts. And employees of the Berkeley Group said that the chief of staff, Mark Meadows, for Trump, refused to accept the findings, and he berated the employees. He also kept sending over new allegations for them to research. So one Berkeley employee said, quote, "It was like playing whack-a-mole." And then some said it was just obvious that Trump and his team were absolutely not interested in learning the truth. And of course, as I mentioned with the Berkeley report, Trump's team buried all of this. They buried both of these reports, and they continued to lie to his supporters about the election. So this is really key to both the Georgia and the federal investigations into Trump and his alleged attempted coup, because they have to prove that he knew that he didn't win, but he still tried to overturn the election through various fraudulent means. And it's being reported that the Georgia DA is considering RICO charges against Trump and his allies. Apparently in Georgia, the RICO statute is very broad in scope. It allows that DA to bring charges based on violations of both state and federal laws, and even crimes committed in other states. And for those who aren't familiar with RICO, it stands for Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations. Historically, it's been used in mob and gang cases where there's a pattern of illegal behavior and like a conspiracy of sorts. A DOJ document notes that the RICO Act, quote, allows tying together apparently unrelated crimes with a common objective. So it's getting hot in here, Nellie. I will let you guys know when something goes down, and I'll let you know when I hear more about all of the investigations. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you possibly can. Truly helps to keep the show going. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.